Mario Kart World's Knockout mode fundamentally changes the way we see Mario Kart. The 10-minute elimination race that sprawls throughout the world shows us the best of what Mario Kart World is meant to do. Give us exhilarating races through an interconnected world. Every checkpoint, the bottom 4 racers are eliminated, simulating the same stress of a lap 3 in Grand Prix. Because the world is interconnected, Nintendo could have chosen any combination of 6 tracks for these knockout rallies, but they chose these 8. Today we will be going through all 8 of these Knockout Tour rallies and ranking them based on how well they accomplished their goal of being fun, exhilarating rallies. Some key factors to keep in mind here are unique intermission connections from one location to another, fun course design with plenty of mushroom cut potential, and maybe the most important of them all, the final lap. While each Knockout Tour rally states that it's exactly 6 tracks connected into one, most of the time you just drive from one track to another, driving through its checkpoint, and then immediately making a sharp turn out of the course back onto the road. However, each Knockout Tour ends with one lap on its final track. Not only is it a tone definer and grand finale of the race, it's also usually the most well-crafted and fun part of the race, so I'm going to be extra vigilant of those when ranking the rallies. With all that out of the way, let's jump right in with number 8. At number 8, we have the Cherry Rally. The Cherry Rally is the only one I could actually consider bad on this list. It does a number of things wrong and fails to do a number of things right. First of all, it is by far the straightest rally in the game, taking you all the way across the bottom of the world from right to left. The first 2 legs aren't terrible, they take you through the most fun parts of tracks Peach Beach and Dino Dino Jungle before dumping you off at Koopa Troopa Beach. Now listen, I'm probably the biggest Koopa Troopa Beach defender you'll find on this website. However, this intermission is not the same track it is in Versus mode. A dead straight line of water is basically this game's version of Kryptonite. There is nothing fun about this, and even when you get closer to DK Spaceport, you have these little floating ramps, but it's still just as boring as you could imagine. Then speaking of DK Spaceport, you don't get to go on the fun ramped track. Instead, you drive by it while being attacked by Robo DK, which is a fine addition, but perhaps a little underwhelming. Then you drive past Whistle Stop Summit, somehow taking a route without any fun grind rails, and then end on a whimper at Desert Hills. I like the idea of a summer tropical rally, but this one just wasn't it. Too many straightaways, too many boring intermissions, and unironically, too much water. Alright, speaking of Desert Hills, the Golden Rally, also known as the first rally in the game. It starts us here at Desert Hills, and yet again has us doing half a lap at Mario Bros. Circuit. Not a bad start for a starter rally, I can give it a little leeway for being a beginner race. Then we get dumped off at Choco Mountain and go right through the building and don't do a lap at all. Alright, a little disappointing, but hey, they had the Choco Island tribute right next door, so that's still kind of cool. I'll give it another pass. Then off to Moo Moo Meadows, and I've got to say, this transition from muddy mountains to grassy plains was done extremely well here. Then after that, we go to Mario Circuit, where we do a single lap on Mario Circuit 3, which is a great use of this course in an intermission-heavy knockout tour. Then we finish off the tour on the easy-to-learn, hard-to-master Acorn Heights. While not the most exhilarating knockout tour in this game, the Golden Rally does a great job as a starter tour, easing you into the concept with a fun yet manageable first tour. The Moon Rally is all over the place. Some parts of this rally I find great, some unbearably boring. You start out flying down Bowser's castle. Great. Then you drive to Toad's factory and basically get to do a full lap. Great. Then you drive to Moo Moo Meadows on possibly one of the windiest intermissions in this game. Everything up until now makes this rally feel like it's going to be one of the best. Then for the next 3 legs through Dandelion Depths and Cheep Cheep Falls, you drive on some of the straightest, most boring intermissions in this entire game. Barely any place for shortcuts, and on top of that, 2 of the legs are on the water. Faraway Oasis is a fine final track, and I think this track at night is possibly one of the greatest atmospheres in this game. But for a knockout tour that starts off so strong, it is truly a shame this one falls off. Every rally from this point forward, I would say, is actually pretty good. I would be fine selecting any of these 5 online, but the weakest of these 5 is definitely the Ice Rally. The Ice Rally starts in the northeastern snow region of the map and makes its way down to the city center and finishes at Crown City. You start at Sky High Sunday and drive through the intermission to Skyview Peak. an intermission, mind you, that is better than the track itself. Then you head down DK Pass on a slope and hop down many winding slopes in maybe the weirdest intermission in this game. Then we go back through Dandelion Depths and Cheep Cheep Falls again. I think this is a weird quirk these knockout tours have, is that a lot of the central tracks are just repeated in these knockout tours because you kind of need to go through them to get anywhere on this map. So I don't hate it. I'm not in love with these two tracks, but I think they're fine in this knockout tour. Then we drive past Peach's Castle, a welcomed windy drive. Then we conclude at Crown City in a decent conclusion to the rally. It's good, but just not great. I enjoyed the ice-themed beginning, but once you reach Dandelion Depths, it does feel similar to the other rallies in this game, and those just happen to create greater paths that encourage more intense races than this one. The Acorn Rally possibly has my favorite intermission in this game. The intermission at the very start from Toad's Factory to Wario Stadium, homaging the concrete Los Angeles River, is one of the most unique locations in this game. And not just that, it's a really fun section of road that allows you to make up time if you know how to drive it right. Then you glide down into Wario Stadium in a very abrupt but fun transition. Take a quick turn out of there towards Choco Mountain and make your way down Peach's Castle and Cheep Cheep Beach. The intermissions along these specific tracks are very well made and fun. While the scenery feels recycled from other rallies, the driving doesn't, because each time you're driving from a different course, which obviously needs its own different road. You then make your way to DK Pass for the conclusion of this race, which I think really solidifies this rally. It's one of the best courses in the game that both feels grand and challenging. There's plenty of opportunity to catch up on this track, which makes it both exciting and stressful, something I can't say about all final tracks. All in all, the Acorn Rally is a very solid knockout tour. It's just one that I think gets lost in the ranking for being a bit too similar to others. But other than that, it's pretty good. In third place, we have the Spiny Rally. I think we all saw this one being pretty high up. It does have some of the early fan favorites like Boo Cinema and Wario Shipyard. However, I do think this is a very flawed rally that is carried this far up the ranking by having some of the best features on this map. First of all, this gloomy ice-themed intermission between Boo Cinema and Skyview Peak is by far one of the most unique theming combos in this game, and it's just absolutely incredible. Then we have the big snowy peak at the second checkpoint that just leaves you in awe. You then fly down DK Pass and are now left with the question, where do we go next? Well, the answer is the beach, of course. The final two intermissions, to and from Salty Salty Speedway and Peach Beach, are some of the most boring driving you will do in this game. I say driving, not racing, because that's what you're doing. Driving in a straight line to the next course. And not just driving over water. I may not love water driving in this game, but I can handle it in short spurts like in the 3-lap version of Peach Beach. But this right here is the opposite of fun. It's everything people were worried about Mario Kart World for. It nearly kills this knockout tour. But then Wario Shipyard comes in, and while it's not as good as the Mario Kart 7 version of the track, it is by far the best water track in this game, creating an atmosphere of both stress and excitement perfect for the final lap of this rally. Tricking off the wave caps and drifting in close for the final jump to steal first place are experiences only this track can provide. And so while this rally has perhaps two of the worst intermissions in the entire game, the first half of this rally and Wario Shipyard are enough to put this knockout tour at number 3 on this list. The Heart Rally is the final rally in the game, and while it basically steals half of its route from the Special Cup, that cup is probably one of the best in the game, so I have no problem with them doing that. You start out at Shy Guy Bazaar and quickly drive up to Airship Fortress, where you don't actually do a lap on it, but instead drive on one of the best intermissions in this game. The wall of Bowser's Castle leads into a hot spring of fish bones. I've never wanted to visit Bowser's Castle more in my life because this hot spring looks so relaxing. Anyways, then you drive past Dry Bones Burnout, which it's a little disappointing because that track is awesome and I like to actually drive on it, but whatever. Then you go through this gloomy, ashy intermission, which has a really cool vibe to it that I loved driving on, which then leads you to a half a lap on Mario Circuit 3, which is a bit odd because they've already used that section of Mario Circuit on another knockout tour when there are 2 other Mario Circuits right there, but Mario Circuit 3 is the best layout of Mario Circuit there, so I guess reusing it's fine. And then you make your way down Moo Moo Meadows once again to Peach's Castle for an epic showdown in the sky to decide the winner. It's a very well done knockout tour that takes the interesting tactic of starting near Bowser's Castle and ending at Peach's castle. It's almost like a race home. It really is a great rally with some of the greatest courses and fun routes. But if I'm picking one knockout tour to be the best rally in this entire game, I'm picking, of course, the Cloud Rally is the best knockout tour rally in this game, and it's not even close. It's very sporadic with its theming, going from the sky to the desert to the city to the water to the savannah and then back up to the sky. But in doing so, it creates the most interesting, fun, and exhilarating knockout tour in the game. With a gliding start, you descend Airship Fortress to Shy Guy Bazaar. You then take the Mushroom Cup route for 2 courses, Mario Circuit and Crown City. 2 courses that are very solid and well integrated into the actual world. You then take the Crown City Bridge over the water into what can only be considered the most hectic minute in Mario Kart world. I'm usually against straightaways, you've heard me say it countless times in this video, but this can barely be considered one despite what the minimap might say. There are cars everywhere for you to weave around, bomb cars at every turn, and mushrooms spat on the track by other cars. It is by far one of the most fun and hectic locations in Mario Kart world. Then you drive through Faraway Oasis to this rally's grand finale, Great Question Block Ruins. I've got to say it, this is by far my favorite track in the game as of now. The theming is immaculate, the track is well designed with plenty of alternate routes to make up time, and a perfect balance of both skill and luck that can determine whether or not you lose. It is the perfect end to a perfect knockout tour. Anyways, thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to watch this video ranking every vehicle in Mario Kart World. If you liked this video, you'll probably like that one also. Alright, thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye.